we are bringing up our featured comedians. Yes. Some things that you need to know about your first featured comedian. This is 1 year anniversary.
Yeah!
That is a big deal. He's not dead behind the eyes either. It's perfect. He likes corgis and the tango. And ever since he told me that, I've just been picturing him tangoing with a corgi. I haven't even listened to you guys. I've just been picturing that. He's wonderful. He has the most accidentally porny sounding name ever. Randy Wood, everybody.
And friends, thank you for everyone coming out. Let's give it up again for Kate. And also, just give it up for Comedy World for being such an awesome place. Doing comedy. So yeah, it's exciting to see everyone here. I'm psyched. This is awesome. I've been thinking about death a lot lately. Specifically, what happens to this? Your physical body after you die. Like, I'm single, I live alone, I don't have any cats, dogs. If I die in my apartment tonight, who's gonna eat my body? The landlord was like, I won't do that again. Long time thing. So I was talking to a friend of mine, and she and her boyfriend were having sex a while ago. And the whole time, her cat was on top of a bookshelf, just staring down, watching them. And she's like, oh, it's super creepy. She's like a little pervert up there. And I'm like, please. Your cat wasn't getting off on that. Your cat was watching you just going, oh man, when they're done, that bed is gonna be so warm. Because your cat's a pervert for comfort. Because this is a kitty cat, I did spell pervert, P-R-R-R-R. P-R-R-R-T. It even sounds comfortable. Comfortable like a vibrating motel bed. It's good stuff. So, a little bit about me. I'm an artist, which means things that I've created are in collections. Mainly deaths, but... And I like fishing for compliments. Let's see. I think it's weird when people use the expression fucking around, like, hey, quit fucking around. Like, that's a bad thing. And, you know, there's the expression, like, we have a problem, let's work around this problem. I think the same can be said for fucking around. You have a problem with a boyfriend or a girlfriend? You fuck around that problem. You lay there, I'm gonna fuck everything around it. The quilt your mom gave me. The cat gets on the bed. Fuck my way into this mess, I will fuck my way out of it. Watch out. They hate when they say that at work. Don't say that. I'm a slow reader. I hate when people are like, I'm a fast reader, I read 20 books yesterday. But you know, I pick books that are appropriate for my reading level. So right now I'm reading a book, Matches. Not done. It's something about a restaurant lounge, you know. I'll look at it tonight. It's good. So, not to bring you down, but another thing about me, I used to wear a wedding ring, right there, I don't anymore. It was a very simple band, had writing on the inside. You know, actually it was a lot like the ring from Lord of the Rings. Except that when I put mine on, the marriage disappeared. And I went to Mordor for a little while. God, I'm glad you get that. No one under 25, they're like, you are sad. What a loser. Definitely the hardest thing about being single and living alone is bedtime. Because it takes forever to check the apartment for monsters. That's a two-person job. But what I've been doing lately is I'll close the closet door before I get into bed. That way the shadows in there aren't so spooky, and I can get a good night's sleep. That's what the nice lady at 911 suggested. Thank you, Dolores! I love her. She is a nice lady. I'm having a party this weekend, and I'm a little concerned because I've heard that a West Coast party don't stop. And I think that's going to be awkward when the landlord comes by and he's like, "Hey! Quit partying in there!" And we're like, "We can't!" It's called Khalil's Rule, guys. It's not called Khalil, it's a law. It's a law. It's proven fact. So, have you ever seen two people walking their dogs down the street, and suddenly they pass each other, and one of the dogs just lunges at the other dog and just starts barking, going nuts? And you assume that that dog is aggressive and poorly trained, which is such an unfair assumption, because what you didn't see was that other dog as he passed doing this. Dogs are dicks, am I right? Come on. We don't pick up on that, but they do. They're catty bitches, that's what they are. Did your owner make that sweater for you? You'd be barking too. I went to IKEA this past weekend to buy a bag of Swedish fish. Half the parts are missing. It was very disappointing. I couldn't get it together. I couldn't read the instructions. Why did they print them on a fruit roll-up? That doesn't make any sense. They just ate them and they're like, "Oh, those are the instructions." That was my dumbest joke. It gets better. So I saw this woman the other day, and she had one of those gigantic purses, and coming out of the side of it was just a little kitten's head, like. And he couldn't move any body parts, just his head, just kind of looking around like that. And I'm like, "Oh my God, that is so cute!" And it hit me that the more helpless something is, the more adorable it is. Like, this is true for newborn babies. It's true for corgis. Those things wouldn't survive 2 minutes in the wild. Picture an eagle, like, taking off the back at. This also explains why women date musicians. Because musicians are like entitled corgis, right? And it's like, you know, who's gonna pay your rent this month? Who's gonna pay your rent? Not you! You're gonna play the guitar! Stuck in the legs. Now, Corky's shredding on the guitar. That would be very cute. Why do people bring super young children on trips? I've never understood this. You're like, "Oh, why do I do that?" It's miserable for the parents, it's miserable for the kids. At best, they're cranky luggage. And you would never willingly go out and buy cranky luggage. You wouldn't go to the store and be like, "You know, I'm looking for a suitcase. The one I'm trying to cross the airport will drag itself on the ground. And one wheel will get stuck and just squeal, super high pitched, anything like that. And the guy's gonna be like, yeah, you know, we do. As a matter of fact, when you are at your wit's end, the zipper will burst and the contents will spill out all over the floor. Fantastic, I'm taking it. Yeah, I'm not playing. Just shoot me luggage. So, I'm sure you guys have all heard that the CEO of Microsoft is stepping down, and the company has announced that they are replacing him with someone who has worked with the company before. I'm sure you all know who I'm talking about. It's Clippy. Clippy's back. Now, if you don't know who Clippy is, there's a little animated paperclip that when you're working on a Word document or something like that, it just pops up like, hey! Looks like you're trying to write a letter! It's like the Jar Jar Binks of software. And Clippy had a press conference today, and he said, hey! Looks like you're trying to run a corporation! I have some suggestions. If you can't laugh at Clippy, I don't know. So, I've been thinking, you know, memory is weird because your brain is very selective about what it likes to remember. I'm sure everyone's gone through this, you know, like I can remember the lyrics to every single Phil Collins song. But I forget that I hate Phil Collins. Selective memory. But scientists say they're going to have a solution for this. And within the next 20 years, they can put a computer chip directly in your brain that will give you absolutely perfect memory. Which sounds good, but I don't want that because it's good to remember good times, but it is far better to forget the bad times. Can we agree on this? Yeah. No one needs to remember that. No one needs to remember a traumatic childhood incident or a painful divorce. Or Ally McBeal, just let it go. And plus, if it's going to play back your memories like some kind of YouTube video, you know that your subconscious is just going to leave the worst user comments. Why do I even read these? Summer camp was bad enough. I don't want to know what I really think. So, I want to make a fake ID that says I'm under 21. Just because I want to see some bouncer do this. Damn, that man's good looking. I can't watch 3D movies. They are just they're too scary for me. I was watching The Great Gatsby, and I got so caught up in that movie. You know, at some point, like, I am Gatsby, you know? And there's a point in the movie where he's having an altercation with someone, and I had to fight the urge. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to scream out in the theater. I'm so involved in this. But I wasn't scared that I was going to scream, don't touch him. Does that one kind of make sense? It's weird, but it would kind of make sense. What I was scared that I was going to yell out in a crowded movie theater full of complete strangers is, don't touch me! This would be fucking crazy. Like, people in the theaters are an alligator in here. I'm like, let's get out! So that's a joke about don't yell alligator. Okay. So, I'm going to do a character for you guys. Let me do a character. Alright. This is the Dirty Russian comic. Dirty Russian comic. Okay? So here we go. Hello. Why do they call it the hymen? Because if you break it, you say, I'm in trouble! Yeah, Dom? Okay, fabulous. You know, I'm gonna go out on that. You guys have been awesome. Thank you so much for coming.
So your next comedian is also celebrating his 1-year comedy anniversary. So let's give it up for him. He is amazing. He did the wonderful Comedy Womb poster that you've seen. He does some beautiful artwork, and he's also incredibly funny. You guys, give it up, Isaac Novak.
Yeah, it was a year ago, pretty much this week, that Randy and I did our first open mic ever. Yep. Freshman class, we're fucking noobs. And it's fun being a noob. It's fun trying out new things, and you know, everything's new. It's like being born and being a baby, you know? You spend the whole year like growing and developing and learning all these new things, and then at the end of the year, you're a bigger baby. You're like twice what you were before, but you still can't really communicate, and you're shitting yourself all the time. So yeah, let's go some applesauce up on the walls, guys. How about it? I got a text from a friend the other day that said, I found your fat doppelganger. Like, oh, you found the other one. You found the other one of these. Yeah, I hate to break it to you, but this is the default Seattle archetype. Doughy, bearded white guy with glasses. There's just step out, poke your head out the window. There's like a gazillion of us just wandering the streets.
And plaid.
What?
And plaid.
And plaid. Yes. We're all wearing plaid. Yeah, we're all wearing plaid. It's like they were trying to build some kind of clone army in a lab, and then the night janitor spilled bong water in a petri dish. Bullshit. We all think we're like the alpha. I do. I'm convinced all these people are just stealing my fucking look. I want to find the 18-year-old version of this model, you know, because they're out there, 18-year-old doughy bearded white guy. I just want